Good evening, everyone. Teruwan Saranai Sielu Denatama. Warm welcome to our regular Saturday program. Every Saturday, we host a special Dhammadana program from Lecture Dhammanikethanaya Buddhist Center. Today, our Dhammadana program is a very special one, as it is the full moon day in the month of February, November full moon day. November full moon day is a very special, significant full moon day to Buddhists all over the world, as there were few significant incidents took place on that special day. As we all are going through difficult times all around the world, this online temple is giving a great opportunity for us to come together and gain the merits and share the blessings. This is highest dana because it is sharing the Dhamma. Dhamma dana is the highest dana. So we are very grateful for our sponsors to keep these programs available. Without their support, we would not have continued these programs. Today, our program is sponsored by Mrs. Niranjala Perera, son Niroshan Perera, Niroshan Kaluarachchi, daughter Manoja Soden and family. They would like to transfer merits to beloved parents, Late Mr Bastian Fernando and Mrs. Somawati Fernando, also Mr. Kinsley Bonny Perera, also Mrs. Pochia Perera, to loving sisters Mrs. Sunimal Fernando, Mrs. Shivanthi Cooray, also loving brother Mr. Lakshman Fernando, and all the relatives, departed relatives and friends. This is also been dedicated to wish a very happy 78th birthday, which falls on tomorrow, to our main sponsor of the day, Mrs. Niranjala Perera. Mrs. Niranjala Perera is a long-standing member of our Buddhist temple and also very good supporter of ourselves. So we take this opportunity to bring all the venerable monks together to wish Mrs. Niranjala Perera a very happy 78th birthday that comes on tomorrow, 28th of February. May you have all the good health and blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, as you have been rejoicing lot of meritorious activities. May you continue that wholesome meritorious activity. In fact, Mrs. Niranjala Perera is very admired with what we are doing for the children, and she wanted to do support for those good causes, as she knows how it is important for the children to learn these teachings and also valuable culture. Together, her birthday blessings, she also would like to wish a very happy 13th birthday to two granddaughters, Eja Soden and also Tamara Kaluarachchi. Eja was 13 on 7th of February. Tamara was 13 on 14th of February. So may they also have all the good health and protection, blessings to progress in their future, in their studies, in good health. Also, Mrs. Niranjala Perera wished to good health, long life, and all the blessings to head monk Venerable Akurala Samitha and also the other venerable monks at Lechwat Dhammaniketane Buddhist Meditation Center for organizing such valuable Dhammadana programs for the parents and also children in the United Kingdom. So Mrs. Niranjala Perera would like to wish everyone all the blessings. We wish all her aspirations be fulfilled. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today program is also being taken by Mrs. Gayani Perera, Mr. Susanta Nonis, also son Virul and family. So Mrs. Gayani and Mr. Susanta and family would like to dedicate all these powerful blessings to wish Virul a very happy birthday. Virul is a very dedicated, very engaged students of our Dhamma school from the always and at the very beginning. So we are very proud of your contributions, your involvements with the Dhamma school. So we take this opportunity to dedicate all the blessings to Virul, who is celebrating the birthday today. It's a great blessing to be with the venerable monks, and we wish you a very happy birthday today. Last, not to the least, I would like to take this opportunity to share the blessings with my mother. I supposed to be in Sri Lanka every year today because my mother's anniversary of remembrance comes on 2nd of March, which is in 3 days' time. Unfortunately, because of these restrictions, I couldn't go, but we managed to do some meritorious activity, building a stupa, and made it available for the worship of the people today. So therefore, we take this opportunity, otherwise I would have been in Sri Lanka, to wish my mother all the blessings and the merits that I have been accrued from this life for her journey to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Bearing those in our heart, we would like to continue with our special program today. අද දවසේ පින්කමේ දායකත්වය දරන්නේ Niranjala Perera මහත්මිය, Niroshan Kaluarachchi පුතණුවන්, Manjula Soden දියණිය ඇතුළු පවුලේ සියලු දෙනා විසින් විශේෂයෙන් දයාබර දෙමව්පියන් වන Bastian Fernando මහත්මයා, Somawati Fernando මහත්මිය, Kinsley Bonny Perera මහත්මයා, Pochia Perera මහත්මිය, ආදරණීය සහෝදරියන් වන Sunimal Fernando මහත්මිය, Shivanthi Cooray මහත්මිය, Lakshman Fernando මහත්මයා ඇතුළු මියගිය සියලු දෙනාටම පින් අනුමෝදන් කිරීමට, එවාගේම හෙට දින පෙබරවාරි 28 වන දිනට 78 වන වියට පාතබන Niranjala Perera මහත්මියට නිදුක් නිරෝගී වාසනාවන්ත සුබ උපන්දිනයක් ප්‍රාර්ථනා කිරීම, එවාගේම 13 වෙනි උපන්දිනයට පත්වෙච්ච දයාබර මිනිබිරියන් දෙදෙන ඒජා සොදෙන් මිනිබිරියටත්, එවාගේම තමාරා කලුආරච්චි දයාබර මිනිබිරියට ආශිර්වාද කිරීමටත්, විහාරස්ථානයේ සියලුම ස්වාමින් වහන්සේලාට සහ සියලුම දෙනාට මේ වසංගත කාලයේ දුක් පීඩා වලට පත්වන සියලු දෙනාටම ආශිර්වාද කිරීමටත් මේ පින්කම තුලින් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අද දවසේ පින්කමේ දායකත්වය අරගෙන කටයුතු කරන ගයනී පෙරේරා මහත්මිය, සුසන්ත නෝනිස් මහත්මයා, විරුල් පුතණුවන් ඇතුළු පවුලේ හැම දෙනාටම අපි ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. විශේෂයෙන් විරුල් පුතණුවන්ගේ උපන් දිනය සිහිපත් කරගෙනයි මේ උදාර පින්කමේ දායකත්වයේ දරන්නේ. විරුල් පුතණුවන්ට නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවය සැලසේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ඒ වගේම අදට මේ වසරට වසර 5ක් සම්පූර්ණ වෙන අප දයාබර මෑණියන්ටත් උතුම් නිවන් සුව අත් වේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාවෙන් මේ පින්කමේ ආශිර්වාද පින් අනුමෝදනාව කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. Now I would like to welcome our venerable monks to our Dhammadana program. Today is a very special program because of the Nawam full moon day program. Our most Reverend Dr. Dato Sumanasiri Nayaka Thera will administer the 5 precepts and make a short reflection of the day. After that, we all join together to make a special homage to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Thereafter, there will be a Sinhala sermon for 15 minutes. Then we will have a special chanting of blessings, followed by the English Dhamma sermon and the children's Dhamma sharing school program. We will finish with few minutes meditation. Now, may I invite our sponsors, Niranjala Perera, also Gayani and family, to observe the 5 precepts. Please say Namo Tassa to observe the 5 precepts.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Yampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Yampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Yampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Anatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Innadana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Tinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kami sumiccācara viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Savada viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Gramiraya majjapama dattana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Suramere vajjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Parents, sisters and brothers in the Lord. Today, the theme that we have chosen is what I have just recited as 5 precepts to you. The common theme is about the events of this Nawam Poya, which the Venerable monks will deal. As a prefatory remark, introduction, especially for our younger crowd, I will deal with this 5 precepts subject and how it's important to our life, especially for our young friends. Buddhism is ethics first and last. That means it's concerned with human actions. And it is psychological ethics which has meaning and which has value. Not simply duty, doing as a duty, but more than that, with a purpose, with a deliberate intention and motive to do something good so that you get good results. And to avoid from the bad so you don't get bad results. And not to do bad actions at the same time. And in this platform, what we have as the project for Maitri or loving kindness, called friendliness, if we take a simpler term for the English-speaking crowd, it shows the way how to befriend oneself. You make friendship with yourself. Never say, I hate myself. Love yourself. There is so much of blessings that you count, which you have. And when you have all that, why think negative about life? Not necessary. And you think about the others also, not only about yourself. Because when you live in the world, you have neighbors, you have people walking down the road and driving through the motorways and everywhere, in schools, in offices, and human communication. We live not in a world where there are a lot of dumb people, a lot of people with talks, which communicates. So therefore, the goodness for oneself and the goodness for the others. Even if others are not concerned how you are thinking about them, still you want to spread your goodness, not only as meditation, but in active human action, day to night or night to day. So therefore, this becomes the groundwork which helps one to reduce greed, hatred, ignorance. Because these are the three evil roots as it is expressed in the Buddha's teachings. But if we look from just a humanistic point of view, overgreed which has created a lot of problems in our society here in the United Kingdom, and particularly in the West, and poverty and corruption which has created a lot of other problems in Asia, Africa, and Pacific, make us think how to overcome this kind of burdens and complications and a confused situation in human life. So the Buddha very smartly, smarter than your smartphone, he has said, hatred, greed, ignorance. We'll go one by one into this, but see from a very open system for any person who could understand the language. To understand high morality, we put in very simpler terms. Our conscience, that means Ape Hrudaya Sakshya, tells us, without even thinking about a religion, that when we do an action, this action is right or this action is wrong. This is something we have inherited from many years of living in this planet Earth or other planets, and we have brought us to us here again. Because this is not the first time your life is on in this planet or in this cosmos, many times. So with that, what we have residue left in us, the conscience in us, you can't see as a figure. People think the conscience is in the heart. No, it is in the entire body. It makes you think when you do, this is right or this is not right. This is proper or not proper. These are not religious injunctions, not religious commandments, not religious law, not religious regulations. Our own human conscious, our own mind and body reaction tells us. Even if you did something wrong and you got good results, then you know still your conscience disturbs you. That was not a right thing you did. So our conscience is the best form of criteria to judge our actions. What other judgments made by formality, by law, and other systems can be wrong, but never your conscience. If your conscience is clear, then you will make and understand what is right and wrong, good and bad, proper and not proper, what is ought to do and ought not to do. These are part and parcel of ourselves, not something outside our own conscience. It has nothing to do with religion, basically. There is no religion higher than humanism. The human being in this planet is considered an evolved entity compared with many others. The difference between the human beings and animals, the difference between human beings and plants is needless to say. But in that, the human beings themselves have created a lot of confusion and detrimental things to themselves. So therefore, based on our conscience, we try to do good things and make the world a better world. So for a logical and consistent set of value system based on reason, we conclude this is proper, that is not proper. Like in science and technology, We have to be in harmony with a system that makes life better and society in harmony with abound friendliness. This is what you call unconditional love, loving kindness in Buddhism, love, compassion, pity. These are all correlated terms. So, in such a society that we live, 100% private life in isolation cannot make the individual happy. Isolation by itself is defined here in the West, particularly in England, as a sickness. So when we interact with society, we need to see what are our obligations and what are our duties as well, not just our rights. We have our rights. Rights also have their limits. You cannot go overboard to ask for freedom without any limits at all. As happiness comes through good and proper communications, in that, like in this time of Corona era that affects all patterns of life, the major issue will be our life, not our private civil liberties. And if life is threatened by Corona, it can be fatal. So think about your life first. So take care of your life. That is the first moral precept in Buddhism. Do not kill yourself or others. This is called a precept. Doesn't matter whatever term we use. This is the first morally good point. So we say in the teachings, refrain from taking life, even life of yourself, because you simply don't belong only to yourself. You belong to your mother, you belong to your father. If you are married, you belong to your husband or wife, and you have your families and the others. To get rid of selfish thinking and to live in a world of togetherness, we have come to a point of higher values to see that life is a gift. It is a reward that we must really make use of. It is a blessing. For what? To develop ourselves, to become better ourselves, so that we can go to higher heights, to enjoy for your happiness and for the happiness of the others. Why think that everything causes suffering? This is not what Buddhism teaches us. Buddhism is a teaching of how to stop suffering and become happy. We must not be thinking about Buddhism as a negative teaching. It is more than a positive teaching. It's a realistic teaching. Understanding that there is suffering, you will get rid of suffering, reduce poverty, reduce illiteracy, become educated, become cultured, and become good. That is the purpose of life. It is for the stopping of that suffering and following the good policies or precepts that we can use also the golden rule, which is common to many sorts of thinking, religious or irreligious. I love my life. I should live and let others live. In other words, do not kill or cause to kill. If such thoughts are transferred into actions, all wars can be stopped. Violence can be reduced, even if you cannot stop it. The right to life is a human right. There is no right to kill or a right to murder. So it's very interesting that what we talk as religion is found in human society without religion in the name of humanism. They are all in the human understanding of acceptance of things. Then the right to your own property or things. You love your things, you want your things, you don't want anybody to steal them. So you shall also not steal the things of the others. Not to take or refrain from taking what is not yours. Not to cause theft, not to do stealing. Respect the right of others so that they can live in security. as far as their things are concerned, and also their families. You may steal a human being. Today we live in a world of human trafficking, and where they want body parts to be for surgery. They even kidnap young or adult people and also take those human organs. So not to steal anything, the right to your own property and things and the things of others as well. This moral precept is called to refrain from stealing. Don't be a thief. Don't be a robber. So these are very simple humanistic teachings actually. They are not high profile religious, what you call philosophy as such. And if you are married or in a family situation with a common law wife or husband, respect the law and respect the person that you are with, and respect the wife or husband of the others, or a boy or a girl of the others. And if you have the right to have interaction physically, you must not think that you can do as you want, as you like, and just because you are adults and come into a consent. It is more than that when we ethically, morally look into the situation. And this is why a value system to look not only the present moment, the future of the person and society, to refrain from sexual misconduct. We must not be proud that because we are adults and because we have the mechanism, then we can do whatever we like. We shouldn't be individualistic like that. We have to think about the others. We have to think of society by and large. So we have noticed that there is no respect for human bodies and others in many parts of the world today. So killing becomes countless. Stealing becomes nothing. Sexual misconduct is nothing at all for such persons. But compare yourself, put yourself into the situation. Do you want to be like that? And do you want such things to happen to yourselves as well? So belonging, whatever to the others, we must respect not only life, but also their human liberties. It is incumbent of us to have right understanding. In the first place, as all these actions are not judged by from a one-way traffic style. Every action has a reaction. So refrain from sexual misconduct should be the norm to enjoy life and be happy here and now. In this digital era, then we come to the third problem especially. There's a lot of fake news. In religion, it's told, don't tell lies. Don't give false evidence in courts. It's very important. So, fake news, gossip have created a lot of confusion in the last 10, 15 years, I suppose, more than ever in the world. Because you have identified yourself, your time, life, and energies, not based on your mind and body, but on machines, telephones, and computer, which controls you. You neglect the very scientific theory of physics that electromagnetic fields can cause fatal sicknesses, changes not only in the mind, but also in the brain, from cancer to tumor to other problems as well. Imagine the amount of fake news in the social media that creates confusion even with regard to the corona web, the jab, sorry. There's so much of theories that people simply don't want to take. So it becomes a great confusion. You think about your choices, but you don't think about your life. You don't think about your family. You don't think about your circle. So these are things that we have to think, that not simply protesting, but why should scientific evidence be just thrown away like that? There's nothing perfect in a system because all these are founded based on people who are not enlightened. So they can make mistakes, but they are doing for the better good. So choose the higher good. This is what Buddhism tells us. When we don't listen to such good things, we create bigger problems in our life because we are so individualistic in this life here. We think that what we think is correct always. You can make a mistake. So therefore, I don't want to use the word obedience. Listen to what the good things are, right things are, that good authorities have given you, not just your parents. Buddhism doesn't believe in blind obedience. You may question, but don't simply argue for the sake of arguing. To understand, to listen, and to make self-criticism that not only the judgment of others or science or technology, but your own judgments that they can be wrong at any time. Nobody is infallible in the world. So these are very profound teachings which are putting in simple terms for our young friends. The next principal precept is about not to touch liquor and drugs that clouds your mind and brain. How interesting. Why did the government for the last few years reduce the content of alcohol in beer, in pubs? These are important things which they have understood. I remember John Major, our former Prime Minister, saying, back to the basics, because they understood there's something wrong in this individualistic society, in this over consumption, which is the norm in society. And see how much pain you have because you're controlled because of Corona, that you can't get the goods you want. And you pay a higher price because your wants are more than your needs. So therefore, we must know how to be enlightened consumers in order to keep our good balance. Liquor and drugs can take you nowhere, only into a dream world. Sisters and brothers in the Dhamma, as introductory notes, I would end myself here in my admonition. May all of you on this Nawam Poya day, it's a full moon day, be well and happy and understand Buddhism and finally achieve the bliss of Nibbana. So,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now let us pay our homage to the Blessed One, Supremely Enlightened Lord Buddha. On this second full moon day of the year, in the month of February, we call Navan Full Moon Day. Full Moon Day is a special day for the Buddhists to take extra effort to practice homage, meditation, observing morality, practicing generosity, and gain more merits, developing our mind. You would hear few minutes later on our discourses what are the very significant things Buddha mentioned on this full moon day, especially discipline. We call Vinaya. The rules are the things that keep anything strengthened. If there is no discipline, if there is no rule, that whole life will collapse. So therefore, Buddha, for the first time, tried to put some discipline in place on this full moon day to keep our profound teaching safe for over 5,000 years to available. So therefore, you got to take yourself also seriously, engage in this homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, because it's going to make a big benefit, huge blessing for our life. So therefore, I encourage our children especially. I'm very, very glad they are attending to learn those gathas and learn how to chant those gathas as a pay in homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So let us join, recite out loud in your household together with monks to pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So like you are in a temple on this full moon day, devoted in your dress, devoted in your mind, devoted in your words, devoted in your behavior, so that you are embracing the blessings from all around. මේ උතුම් නවන් පුර පසළොස්වක පොහෝ දිනේ දවසේ අපිට අවස්ථාවක් ලැබුණ අපේ කයින්, අපේ සිතින්, අපේ වචනයෙන් තුනුරුවන් සරණ යමින් බුද්ධ වන්දනා, බෝධි වන්දනා, චෛත්‍ය වන්දනා සිදු කරමින් මල් පහන් පූජා කරමින් අපේ ජීවිතයට ආශිර්වාදයක් ලබා ගන්නට ඒ උතුම් ආශිර්වාදයක් වේවා කියන අදිෂ්ඨානය ඇති කරගෙන හැම දිනම එකට එකතුව වන්දනා කරමු ගාථා කියමින්. Let us pay our homage together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Ittipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijñācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sārati sattā deva manussanang buddho bhagavati buddhaṃ jīvitaṃ yāva nibbānaṃ saranaṃ gacchāmi. Swāgkārto bhagavata dhammo saṅdhiṭṭhiko akāliko ehipansiko opanayiko paccattāṃ veditambo viññūhiti dhammaṃ jīvitaṃ yāva nibbānaṃ saranaṃ gacchāmi. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho ujjupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho ñāya patipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho sāmīci patipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho yadidaṃ cattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala esa bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho āhuneyo pāhuneyo dakkineyo anjali karaniyo anuttaraṃ puññakkettaṃ lokasāti saṅgaṃ jīvitaṃ yāva nibbānaṃ saranaṃ gacchāmi. Vandāmi cetiyaṃ sabbhaṃ sabbhatānesu atintitaṃ sāririka dhātu mahābodhiṃ buddha rūpaṃ sakalaṃ sadāyassa mūle nisinnova sambhāri vijayaṃ patto sabbhaṃ yutaṃ sattā vandetaṃ bodhipādapaṃ ime ete te mahabodhi lokanatena
pujita
aham pite namassami bodhi raja namantute kanasarampadittena
dīpena
deepena
samadansina
Tiloka dīpaṃ sambuddhaṃ pūjayāmi tamonudam gandha sambhāra yuttena dūpenāhaṃ
sugandhina
Pujaye pujanīyantaṃ pujā bhājanamuttamam vanna gandha gunopetaṃ
etaṃ kusuma santatim
Pujayami munindassa siripada sarorue pujemi buddhaṃ kusumena punyena metena labami mokkhaṃ puppang milayati yataidam me kayo tatayati vinasavāvaṃ sugandhaṃ sītalang kappang pasanna maduraṃ subhaṃ pāniya metam bhagavā patiganhātuttama adivāsetu no bhante gilāna paccayam imam anukampam upadāya patiganhātuttama adivāsetu no bhante sabbang saddhāya pujitam anukampam upadāya patiganhātuttama kāyena vācā cittena pamadena maya kataṃ accayaṃ kamame bhante bhuri panya tathāgata kāyena vācā cittena pamadena maya kataṃ accayaṃ kamame dhamma sandittika akalika kāyena vācā cittena pamadena maya kataṃ accayaṃ kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara imina punya kammena mame vala samāgamo sataṃ samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkantu loka sāsanaṃ ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkantu desanaṃ ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkantu maṃ paranti dhamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo idhamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo idhamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo sadhu 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 මේ වෙලාවේදී මා ඊටාම ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා සිංහල ධර්ම දේශනාව පවත්වන ලෙස Now we are moving into few minutes Sinhala Dhamma sermon. So during that time, please do listen or practice few minutes meditation. It would take about 10-15 minutes. මේ වෙලාවේදී මා ඊටාම ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා අද දවසට નિયમિત සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වන ලෙස දික්වැල්ල වැවරු කන්නල බුදුරජ මහා විහාරස්ථානයේ විද්‍යාතුංග පිරිවෙනේ පරිවෙනාධිපතිව වැඩ වාසය කළ බර්ලින් බෞද්ධ විහාරයේ අනුශාසක වශයෙන් කටයුතු කරන දික්වැල්ලේ සීල සුමන පඬිත් හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේට සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වන ලෙස කවුරුත් ආරාධනාවක් හැටියට සාදුකාරයක් පවත්වන්න.
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. ගෞරවනීය හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ, දුදරුවනි, දෙමාපියනි, අද නවම් පුර පසළොස්වක පොහොය දවසේ ශාසනික වැදගත්කම පිළිබඳව කෙටියෙන් කරුණු කීපයක් සඳහන් කිරීමට මා කැමැතියි. මේ බුද්ධ ශාසනයේ සම්බුද්ධ චරිතාපදානයේ ඉතා වැදගත් සිද්ධීන් රාශියක් සිද්ධ වෙච්ච දිනයක් තමයි, ඓතිහාසික පූජනීය දිනයක් තමයි මේ නවම් පුර පසළොස්වක පොහොය දිනය කියලා කියන්නේ. නවම් මාසය කියලා කියන්නේ නවකම් කියන අර්ථයෙන් අලුත් නවම් බවක් ඇති වෙන මාසය. ගස් කොළන් වල පරිසරයේ වෙනසක් ඇති වෙන කාල පරිච්ඡේදයක් තමයි නවම් මාසය කියලා කියන්නේ. අන්නේ වටිනා මාසයේ උදා වෙච්ච නවම් පොහොය කරුණු කීපයක් නිසා වැදගත්කමක් උසුලනවා. රජගහනුවර වේළුවනාරාමේදී ඒ සරියුත් මුගලන් දෙනමට අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවක තනතුරු ලැබුණේ මේ උතුම් පොහොය දිනේදී. ඒ වගේම අපේ බුදුහාමුදුරන්ගේ ප්‍රථම සංඝ සම්මේලනය පැවැත්වුවේ මේ උතුම් පොහොය දවසේ. ඒ වගේම බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ මහා සංඝයාට ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය දේශනා කළේ මේ නවම් පුර පසළොස්වක පොහොය දවසේ. ඒ වගේම අපේ බුදුහාමුදුරන්ගේ පිරිනිවන් පෑමට මාස 3කට පෙර ආතුව ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහැරියේ මේ නවම් පුර පසළොස්වක පොහොය දවසේ. මෙන්න මේ කියන වැදගත් සිදුවීම් රාශියක් සිද්ධ වෙච්ච දිනයක් තමයි මේ නවම් පුර පසළොස්වක පොහොය දවස කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ කරුණු අතුරින් අපි කීපයක් අද කෙටියෙන් සාකච්ඡා කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. පළවෙනි කාරණය තමයි ප්‍රථම මහා සංඝ සන්නිපාතයේ සිද්ධ වෙච්ච දිනය. මේ බුද්ධ ශාසනයේ මේ මහා සංඝ රත්නයේ පළමු රැස්වීම රජගහනුවර වේළුවනාරාමය කේන්ද්‍ර කරගෙන රැස්වුණු බව, මේ නවම් පොහොය දිනේ රැස්වුණු බව තමයි ඓතිහාසික වශයෙන් ඒ වාර්තා වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. උරුවේල කාශ්‍යප, ඒ වගේම නදී කාශ්‍යප, ගයා කාශ්‍යප කියන ඒ තුන් බෑ ජටිල භික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා ප්‍රදාන සිය දහසක් භික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා පිරිසක්, ඒ වගේම සරියුත් මුගලන් හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේලා ප්‍රදානයේ 250ක්, රහතන් වහන්සේලාත් ඇතුළු 1250ක් රහතන් වහන්සේලාගේ වේළුවනාරාමයේ බබලන්ට උනේ මේ නවම් පුර පසළොස්වක පොහොය දවසේ. ඒ 1250ක් වූ රහතන් වහන්සේලා අතුරින් අපේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ සරියුත් මුගලන් දෙදෙනා වහන්සේට අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවක තනතුරු පිරිනැමුවා. සැරියුත් හාමුදුරුවන්ට ධර්ම සේනාධිපති තනතුර පිරිනැමුවා. ඒ වගේම මුගලන් හාමුදුරුවන්ට මහා ඉර්ධිලාභීන්ගේ අගතනතුරු ලැබුණා. මුලින්ම පැවිදි වෙච්ච භික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා ඉඳෙද්දී ඒ සැරියුත් මුගලන් හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේලා දෙනමට මේ තනතුරු පිරිනැමීම පිළිබඳව ඇතැම් භික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා දෝෂාරෝපණය කළා. බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ සැරියුත් මුගලන් දෙදෙනා වහන්සේ පිළිබඳව ඒ දෙදෙනා වහන්සේ අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවක බව ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරගෙන පින් කරපු බව දක්වලා අතීත ප්‍රවෘත්තියක් උන්වහන්සේ ගෙනහැර දක්වලා ඒ දෝෂාරෝපණය කරපු භික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලාගේ සැකය දුරු කළා. අපි විශේෂයෙන් ඒ නවම් පුර 15ක් පොය ගැන කියනකොට ඒ සැරියුත් මාහිමියන් ගැන විශේෂයෙන් සඳහන් කරන්නට ඕන. ඒ සැරියුත් හාමුදුරුවෝ කියලා කියන්නේ මේ බුද්ධ ශාසනයේ දකුණත් සව් හාමුදුරුවෝ දකුණත් ශ්‍රාවක හාමුදුරුවෝ තමයි සැරියුත් හාමුදුරුවෝ කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ සැරියුත් හාමුදුරුවෝ ගිහි ජීවිතයේ උපතිස්ස පරිබ්‍රාජක නමින් අස්සජී හාමුදුරුවන්ගෙන් ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණය කළා බුද්ධ ශ්‍රාවකයෙකු බවට පත් වුණා. ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී අස්සජී හාමුදුරුවෝ දේශනා කරපු ගාථාවක් තියෙනවා. ඒක මේ ධර්මයේ ඉතා ප්‍රසිද්ධ ගාථා ධර්මයක්. යේ ධම්මා හේතු පබවා තේසං හේතුන් තථාගතෝ ආහ තේසංචයෝ නිරෝධෝ එවං වාදි මහා සමනෝ කියන ගාථා ධර්මය. මේ ගාථාවේ කියන අදහස තමයි යම් ධර්මයක් හේතු ප්‍රත්‍යයෙන් හටගත්තද ඒ හේතුව තථාගතයන් වහන්සේ නැත්නම් බුදුහාමුදුරු දේශනා කළා තියෙනවා. ඒ හේතු ප්‍රත්‍යයන්ගේ යම් නිරෝධයක් නැත්නම් ඒකේ නැති කිරීමක් තියෙනවද? අන්න ඒක තමයි බුදුහාමුදුරු දේශනා කළා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා අපේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ මෙන්න මේ වගේ වාද තියෙන කෙනෙක් කියන එක තමයි අස්සජී හාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ සැරියුත් හාමුදුරුවන්ට ගිහි ජීවිතයේදී දේශනා කළේ. උපතිස්ස තරුණයා මේ ගාථාව අහලා සෝවාන් ඵලයටපත් වුණා. බුදුහාමුදුරන්ගේ අනුදැනුම ඇතුව සරියුත් හාමුදුරුවෝ බොහෝ ධර්මය දේශනා කළා. විශේෂයෙන් අභිධර්මයේ දේශනා කිරීමේදී දැක් වූ සාමාර්ථ භාවය නිසා ඒ සරියුත් මාහිමියන්ට ධර්ම සේනාධිපති කියන තනතුර පිරිනැමූ බව තමයි අපේ ශාසන ඉතිහාසයේ සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. සරියුත් හාමුදුරුවෝ ඉහළින්ම ඒ ශ්‍රාවකයන් අතර ප්‍රශංසාව ලැබූ ඉහළම ශ්‍රාවකයා හැටියට සඳහන් වෙනවා. බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ එක්තරා අවස්ථාවකදී තමන්ගේ ධර්මයේ පැතිරවීමේ අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවකයා ලෙස උන්වහන්සේ හඳුන්වලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම නිහතමානී ගුණය පෙන්වන්න කරපු ඉහළින්ම පෙන්වුම් කරපු හාමුදුරු කෙනෙක් තමයි සරියුත් හාමුදුරුවෝ කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ සරියුත් හාමුදුරුවෝ පිරිනුවම් පෑවට පස්සේ ඒ ශාරීරික ධාතුන් අතට අරගෙන අපේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ සරියුත් හාමුදුරුවන්ගේ ගුණ ගාථා 500කින් දේශනා කළා කියලා ඒ ත්‍රිපිටකයේ සඳහන් වෙනවා. ඊළඟ අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවක හාමුදුරුවෝ තමයි මුගලන් හාමුදුරුවෝ කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ මුගලන් හාමුදුරුවෝ වමත් සව් හැටියට සැලකෙන්නේ. ගිහි ජීවිතයේදී උන්වහන්සේගේ නම තමයි කෝලිත කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ කෝලිත පරිබ්‍රාජකයා නමින් තමයි ප්‍රසිද්ධ වෙලා හිටියේ. අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවක තනතුරු ලැබුව මේ මුගලන් හාමුදුරුවන්ට 이르දිමතුන් අතර අගතැන්පත් බව ලැබුණා. උන්වහන්සේ මේ මුගලන් හාමුදුරුව මේ බුද්ධ ශාසනය ආරක්ෂාවට ඒ වගේම ව්‍යාප්තියට විශාල සේවාවක් සිදු කරපු හාමුදුරු කෙනෙක්. මුගලන් හාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ කාලශිලා කියන වනයේ වාසය කරනකොට තීර්ථකයන් පහවණු දහසක් සොරුන්ට දීලා මුගලන් හිමියන් ඝාතනය කරන්නට උත්සාහ කළ බව ඒ ත්‍රිපිටකයේ සඳහන් වෙනවා. දෙවරක් උන්වහන්සේ බෙහෙරුණත් තුන්වෙනි වර උන්වහන්සේ ඝාතනයට ලක් වුණා. මුගලන් හාමුදුරුවෝ 이르දි බලයෙන් අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවකෙක් නැත්නම් අගතනතුරටපත් වුණත් ඒ තමන් කරපු අකුසල කර්මයෙන් කර්ම විපාකයෙන් ගැලවෙන්නට උන්වහන්සේට බැරි වුණා. මුගලන් හාමුදුරන්ගේ චරිතයෙන් අපට ගන්න පුළුවන් ආදර්ශ රාශියක් තියෙනවා. ඒතර මේ අගසව් දෙනම සරියුත් මුගලන් දෙනමට ඒ තනතුරු ලැබුණේ මේ නවම් පුර 15ක් පොහොය දවසේ. ඊළඟට අපිට වැදගත් වෙන කාරණය තමයි මේ පොහොය දිනේ සිද්ධ වෙච්ච ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය දේශනා කිරීම. අපේ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ බුද්ධත්වයෙන් අවුරුදු 20ක් යනතුරු විනය නීති පැනෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ මුල් අවුරුදු 20 කාලය ස්වයං ශික්ෂණයක් තිබුණේ, ඉබේ හික්මීමක්. නීති පැනවීමක්, විනය නීති පැනවීමක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ සරියුත් මුගලන් දෙනමට ඕවා අග්‍ර ශ්‍රාවක තනතුරු පිරිනමල මහා සංඝරත්නයට ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය දේශනා කළා. ඒ බුදුහාමුදුරන්ගේ ශාසනය උන්වහන්සේගේ බුද්ධත්වයෙන් මා කලින් කිව්වා වගේ අවුරුදු 20ක් යනකම් කිසිම විනය නීතියක් භික්ෂූන්ට පැනවුවේ නැහැ. ඉබේම හික්මීමක්, ඒකට කියන්නේ ස්වයං ශික්ෂණයක් යුක්ත පිරිසක් බවට මේ භික්ෂූන් වහන්සේලා මහා සංඝරත්නයටපත් උනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මුල් 20 වසර තුල, බුද්ධත්වයෙන් මුල් 20 වසර තුල ඒ භික්ෂූන් වහන්සේලාගෙන් වැරදි සිද්ධ වුණේ නැහැ. කෙලෙස් අඩු අය ඒ කාලේ හිටිය රහතන් වහන්සේලා සුලභව වැඩ හිටපු කාලයක් තමයි මුල් අවුරුදු 20 කියලා කියන්නේ. අන්නේ කාලය තුලදී තමයි මේ ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය දේශනා කළේ. ආනා ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂයක්, ඒ කියන්නේ විනය නීති පැනවීමක් ඒ කාලේ තිබුණේ. මෙන්න මේ ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය සියලු බුදුවරයන්න් වහන්සේලාගේ අනුශාසනාවක් ලෙසයි සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. සියලු බුදුවරුන්ගේ ශාසන පරමාර්ථය එක සමානයි කියන එකයි අපේ ඒ ශාසන ඉතිහාසය තුළින් පැහැදිලි වෙන්නේ. මේ බුද්ධ ශාසනයේ වැඩි ආයුෂ ඇති බුදුවරුන්ගේ ආයුෂ වැඩි කාලයක් පවතින්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් අඩු ආයුෂ ඇති බුදුවරුන්ගේ ශාසන බුද්ධ පරිනිර්වාණයෙන් පස්සෙත් බොහෝ කාලයක් පවතිනවා. අර වැඩි ආයුෂ තියෙන බුදුවරුන්ගේ ශාසනය වැඩි කලක් පවතින්නේ නැහැ. ඒ දීර්ඝායුෂ ඇති බුද්ධ ශාසනවල ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය දක්වලා ඒ අල්ප ආයුෂ්ක බුද්ධ ශාසනවල ප්‍රථම බෝධියේදීම ඒ මුල් අවුරුදු 20 තුලදීම ඒක දේශනා කරන බව තමයි අපේ ශාසන ඉතිහාසයේ සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය කියලා කියන්නේ ගාථා 3ක් වශයෙන් ඒක දැක්වෙනවා. කවුරුත් දන්න ගාථාවක් තියෙනවා, ප්‍රසිද්ධ ගාථාවක්. ඒ සබ්බපාපස්සාකරණං කුසලස්ස උපසම්පදා සචිත්ත පරියෝදපනං ඒතම් බුද්ධාන ශාසනං කියන ගාථාව. ඊට අතිරේකව තවත් ගාථා දෙකක් තියෙනවා. කන්ති පරමං තපෝ තිතික්ඛා නිබ්බානම් පරමං වදන්ති බුද්ධා නහි පබ්බජිතෝ පරූපඝාති සමනෝ හෝති පරං විහෙට යන්තෝ. ඒ වගේම තවත් ගාථාවක් තියෙනවා. අනූපඝාතෝ අනූපවාදෝ අනූපඝාතෝ පාතිමොක්කේච සංවරෝ මත්තඤ්ඤුතාච්ච භත්තස්මින් පත්තංච සයනාසන අදිතිච්ඡේත ආයෝගෝ ඒතම් බුද්ධාන ශාසනං. ඊතර මේ ගාථා තුනෙන්ම ප්‍රකාශ වෙන්නේ ඉවසීම කියන එක, ශාන්තිය කියන එක උතුම්ම ලාභයක්. ඒක පැවිදි ජීවිතයට ඉතාම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය අංගයක් හැටියට දියුණු කරන්නේ කියන එක එක ගාථාවකින් කියන්නේ. අනිත් දෙවෙනි ගාථාවෙන් අවුරුද්දේ දන්න ගාථාව සියලු පව් කරන්න එපා, සියලු කුසල් රැස් කරන්න, ඒ වගේම හිත පවිත්‍ර කරන්න. ඒක තමයි ඒ සියලු බුදුවරයන් වහන්සේලාගේ අනුශාසනාව හැටියට දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ මේ තුන්වෙනි ගාථාවෙන් කියන්නේ ජාත්‍යාදී වශයෙන් කෙනෙකුට ආක්‍රෝශාදී වශයෙන් කෙනෙකුට බනින්න, ඒ වගේම පහර දෙන්නට එපා, ප්‍රාණවදය නැත්නම් ප්‍රාණඝාතය කරන්න එපා. ඒ ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂ සංවර සීලය ආරක්ෂා කරමින් නිදහස් විවේකීව සමත විදර්ශනා භාවනා යෙදෙමින් සමත විදර්ශනා භාවනාවල යෙදෙමින් කටයුතු කිරීම සියලු බුදුවරයන් වහන්සේලාගේ අනුශාසනාවයි කියන එකයි ඒ තුන්වෙනි ගාථාවෙන් කියවෙන අදහස. මෙන්න මේ කියන ඕවාද ප්‍රාතිමොක්ෂය දඹදිව මධ්‍ය මණ්ඩලයේ ඒ විසිරී සිටි සියලු සංඝයා වහන්සේලා එක තැනකට රැස් වෙලා 6 මාසයකට වරක්, එහෙම නැත්නම් 3 මාසයකට වරක්, මාසයකට එකවරක් දේශනා කිරීම සිරිතක් වශයෙන් පැවතුණා. ඒ ප්‍රථම බෝධියේදී අල්ප රජස්කයෝ, ඒ කියන්නේ කෙලෙස් අඩු අය බහුලව සිටියත්, ඒ පසුව මහා රජස්කයන් නැත්නම් පදපරම තත්ත්වයේ පුජ්‍යලයන් නැත්නම් කෙලෙස් වැඩි පුජ්‍යලෝ පැවිදි වන්නට උනා. ඒ කියන්නේ අවුරුදු බුද්ධත්වයෙන් අවුරුදු 20කට පස්සේ ඒ කෙලෙස් වැඩි පුජ්‍යලෝ මේ ශාසනයට ඇතුළු වුණා. අන්නේ ඇතුළු වීමත් සමග මේ ආනා ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂය දේශනා කිරීමට හේතුණා කියලා කියනවා. ආනාව කියලා කියන්නේ නීතිය නැත්නම් ව්‍යවස්ථාව, ආඥාව. ඒ කියන්නේ විනය පිටකය ඒ නීති දේශනා කරන්නට යෙදුනේ අවුරුදු 20කට පස්සේ. මේ විදිහට ශාසනය බහුශෘතයන් ඒ වගේම පිරිස වැඩිවීම තුළින් නීති සම්පාදනය කරන්නට උනා. ඒකයි ඒ විදිහේ ආනා ප්‍රාතිමෝක්ෂයක් නැත්නම් ඒ විනය පිටකයක් වශයෙන් දේශනා කරන්නට හේතුනේ, විනය නීතිමාලාවක් දේශනා කරන්නට හේතුනේ බහුලව මේ ශාසනයට පිරිස් ඇතුළු වුණු නිසා. ඒතර ඒක දේශනා කළේ මෙන්න මේ උතුම් නවම් පුරපසළොස්වක පොහොය දවසේ. ඊළඟට කාරණේ තමයි ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහැරීම. බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහැරිය අවුරුදු 80 දී ඒ බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ සරියුත් මොගලන් දෙනමගේ පරිනිර්වාණයෙන් පස්සේ රජගහ නුවරින් නික්මිලා චාපාල චෛත්‍ය වෙත වැඩම කළා. එතෙන්දී බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ආනන්ද හාමුදුරුවන් අමතලා සතර 이르දිපාද වඩන ලද කෙනෙකුට කැමැතිනම් කල්පයක් වුණත් ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් බව දේශනා කළා. 이르දිපාද කියලා කියන්නේ 이르දි කියලා කියන්නේ යම් විදි ශක්තියකින් ඒ චිත්ත බලයෙන් හරි යම් යම් දේවල් කරන්න පුළුවන් හැකියාව. ඒතර මෙතන සතර 이르දිපාද කියලා කියන්නේ ඡන්ද, ඒ වගේම විරිය, බීමන්සා, චිත්ත කියන මෙන්න මේ කියන 이르දිපාද. අන්නේ 이르දිපාද හතර වඩපු කෙනෙකුට කල්පයක් වුණත් ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් බව දේශනා කරයි කියන එක ඒ පරිනිර්වාණ සූත්‍රයේ සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. තුන්වරක්ම මේ අදහස බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ප්‍රකාශ කළත් ආනන්ද හාමුදුරුවන්ට මාරාවේශ වෙලා හිටිය නිසා ඊයේ ඇති කරගන්නට නොහැකිව බුදුහාමුදුරුවන්ට කල්පයක් වැඩ ඉන්නට ආරාධනා කරන්නට බැරි වුණු බව තමයි ඒ ප්‍රවෘත්ති සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ආනන්ද හාමුදුරන්ගේ ප්‍රමාදයක් බලලා මාර්යා ඇවිල්ලා බුදුහාමුදුරන්ට පිරිනිවන් පාන්න ආරාධනා කළා. ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ 3 මාසයකින් පිරිනිවන් පාන බව මාර්යාට දේශනා කළා. ඒ ප්‍රකාශ කළා. බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඉදිරි 3 මාසයේ පමණක් සමාපත්තියට සමවැදිලා ඊට පස්සේ සමවදින් නැතයි අදිෂ්ඨාන කරලා ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහැරියා. ඒ වගේම ඒ ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහැරීම කියලා කියන්නේ මෙතෙක් කාලයකින් පිරිනිවන් පානවයි කියලා කාලය සීමා කර ගැනීමක් තමයි ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහරිනවයි කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒතර බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහරපු මොහොතේම මහා භූමි චලනයක් පොළොව සෙලවීමක් සිදු වුණා කියලා සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒතර ආනන්ද හාමුදුරුවෝ කල්පයක් වැඩ ඉන්නට ආරාධනා කළත් ඒ ආයු සංස්කාරය අතහැරපු නිසා 3 මාසයකින් පිරිනිවන් පාන බව බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ කලින්ම ප්‍රකාශ කරා. එතකොටත් ඒ ආනන්ද හාමුදුරන්ගේ ආරාධනය පිළිගන්නට උන්වහන්සේට නොහැකි වුණා. චාපාල චෛත්‍යයෙන් විශාලා නගරයට වැඩම කළා. බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ කූටාගාරයට රැස් වෙච්ච භික්ෂූන් වහන්සේලා අමතලා සත්‍තිස් බෝධිපාක්ෂික ධර්ම දේශනා කළා. අන්තිම අවවාදයක් කළා භික්ෂූන් වහන්සේලාට. ඒ අන්තිම අවවාදය අපිනාම දන්නෝ වය ධම්මා සංඛාරා අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේත කියන ඒ අන්තිම අවවාදයක් කළා තමයි භික්ෂූන් වහන්සේලාට උන්වහන්සේ අවුරුදු වයස 80 දී පිරිනිවන් පාවදාල්. මෙන්න මේ කියන වැදගත් සිදුවීම් රාශියක් සිද්ධ වෙච්ච මේ උතුම් නවම් පොහොය දිනේ අපි හැමදෙනාම ඒ සීලාදී ගුණධර්ම ආරක්ෂා කරගෙන ආමිස පූජා ප්‍රතිපත්ති පූජා වශයෙන් ඒ ගුණධර්ම සම්පූර්ණ කරන්නට අදිෂ්ඨාන කරගන්නා හැටියට සිහිපත් කරමින් හැමදෙනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණ ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
සාදු සාදු සාදු. ඒ උතුම් ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වනු ලැබුවේ මාතර දික්වැල්ල වැවුරු කන්නල බුදුරජ මහා විහාරස්ථානයේ විද්‍යාතුංග පිරිවෙනේ පරිවිනාධිපතියට කටයුතු කළ ජර්මනියේ බර්ලින් බෞද්ධ විහාරයේ අනුශාසක වශයෙන් කටයුතු කරන අතිගෞරවනීය දික්වැල්ලේ සීල සුමන පඬිත හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ අද දවසේ මේ උතුම් නවන් පුර 15ක් බොහෝ දිනය නිමිති කරගෙන අප හැම දිනාටම උතුම් ධර්ම දානමය පින්කම රැස් කර ගන්නට උන්වහන්සේ විසින් සිදු කළ මේ උතුම් ධර්මානුශාසනාව හේතු වාසනා වේවා. අද දවසේ පින්කමේ දායකත්වයේ දරන නිරංජලා පෙරේරා නෝනා මහත්මිය ඇතුළු පවුලේ සෑම දෙනාටමත් ගායනී නෝනා මහත්මිය සුසන්ත මහත්මයා ඇතුළු ඒ පවුලේ සෑම දෙනාටමත් නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවයේ පිණිස වේවා. නිරංජලා පෙරේරා නෝනා මහත්මියට එවැගේම පවුලේ සෑම දෙනාටමත් සුබ උපන් දිනයක් වේවා. විරුල් පුතණුවන්ටත් සුබ උපන් දිනයක් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. අපි හැම දෙනාම දැන් මේ වෙලාවේදී ටික වෙලාවක් සෙත් පිරිත් දේශනාවක නිරත වෙමු. Now we are going to attend for few minutes chanting of blessings. Please do join to practice few minutes chanting of blessing. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya matta කුසලේන
යන්තං සන්තං පදං අபிසමෙන්ත
සක්කෝ උජුච සුජුච
වචෝ දස්ස මුළු අනතිමානේ
සන්තුස්ස කෝච
සුබරෝච අම්පගින්චෝච සල්ලවුක බුන්තේ
සංතින්ද්‍රියෝච නිපකෝච
අම්පගම්බෝ කුලේසු අනනුගින්දෝ
නච්ච කුද්දං
සමාචරේ කිංචේන විඤ්ඤෝ පරේ උපවදෙය්‍යොම්
සුඛිනෝ වාකේමිනෝ හොන්තු
සම්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු කිතන්තා
යේකේ චිපාන භූතත්ති
තසාවාතාවරාවානවසේසා
දීගාවායේ මහන්තාවා
මජ්ජිමාරස්සකානුකතුලා
දිට්ඨාවායේව අන්දිට්ඨායේ
යේච දූරේ වසන්ති අවිදූරේ
භූතාවා සම්භවේ සීවා
සම්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතන්තා
නපරෝ පරං නිකුම්භේත
නාති මඤ්ඤේත ගන්ත තිනං කංචි
යාරෝසනා පටිග සංඥා
ඥාඤ්ඤමඤ්ඤන්ත දුක්ඛ මිච්ඡය
මාතා යතානියං පුත්තං
ආයුසායේක බුද්ධ මනුරංගේ
එවං සම්බ භූතේසු
මාන සම්භාවයේ අපරිමාණං
මෙත්තං ච සම්බ ලෝකස්මින්
මාන සම්භාවයේ අපරිමාණං
බුද්ධං අදෝච තිරියංච අසංබාධං
අවේරං අසපන්තං
තිත්තං චරං නිසින්නෝ වා
සයානෝ වායාවකස්ස විගත නින්දෝ
ඒතං සතින් අදිත්තේය
බ්‍රහ්මමේතං විහාරං ඉදමාවෝ
දිට්ඨිංච අනුපගම්ම සීලවා
දස්සනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනෙය්‍යගේ දං නයිජාතු ගම්බසෙයං පුනරේති
ඒතේන සච්ච වඤ්ඤේන
සොත්තිතේ හෝතු සම්පදා
ඒතේන සච්ච වඤ්ඤේන සම්බරෝගෝ විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච
වඤ්ඤේන හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං
සිරිදිති මති තේජෝ
ජය සින්දි මහින්දි
මහා ගුණං අපරිමිත පුඤ්ඤාදිකාරස්ස සම්බන්තරාය නිවාරණ සමත්තස්ස භගවතෝ
අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස
වත්තිංස මහා පුරිස ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන අසීත්‍යානුභ්‍යංජන ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන අට්ඨුත්තර සත මංගල ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන සම්බන්න රංස්යානුභාවේන කේතුමාලානුභාවේන දස පාරමිතානුභාවේන දස උපපාරමිතානුභාවේන දස පරමත්ත පාරමිතානුභාවේන සීල සමාධි
පඤ්ඤානුභාවේන
බුද්ධානුභාවේන ධම්මානුභාවේන සංඝානුභාවේන තේජානුභාවේන ඉද්ධානුභාවේන බලානුභාවේන නෙය්‍ය ධම්මානුභාවේන චතුරාසීති
සාස්ස ධම්මක්ඛන්ධානුභාවේන
පිටකත්තයානුභාවේන දිනසාවකානුභාවේන සබ්බේතේ රෝගා සම්බේතේ භයා සම්බේතේ අන්තරායා සම්බේතේ උපද්දවා සම්බේතේ දුන්නිමිත්තා සම්බේතේ අවමංගලා විනස්සන්තු ආයුවට්ටකෝ ධනවට්ටකෝ සිරිවට්ටකෝ යසවට්ටකෝ බලවට්ටකෝ වන්නවට්ටකෝ දුකවට්ටකෝ හෝතු සම්පදා දුක්ඛරෝග භයාවේරා සෝකාරම්මේ උපන්දවා අනේකා අන්තරායාපි විනස්සන්තු ච තේජසා ජය සිද්ධි ධනං ලාභං දුක්ඛිවාග්යං සුඛං බලං සිරියායුච වන්නෝච භෝගං බුද්ධිච යසවා සතවස්සාච ආයුච ජීව සින්දි භවන්තු තේ සම්පීතියෝ විවජ්ජන්තු සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනාශතු මාතේ භවත් වන්තරායෝ සුඛී දීඝායුකෝ භව භවතු සම්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සම්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සම්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සම්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සම්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සම්බ දේවතා සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ නක්ඛත් යක්ඛ භූතානං පාපග්ගානිවාරණා පරිත්තස්සානුභාවේන අන්තු තේ සංඋපද්දවේ දේවෝ වස්සතු කාලේන සස්ස සම්පත්ති හේතුච පීතෝ භවතු ලෝකෝච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we are moving on to our English Dhamma reflections. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, fully enlightened one, the worthy one. Sabba papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodhapanang etang buddhana sasanang. To refrain from all evil and bad action, to develop, cultivate all wholesome actions, purify the mind. This is the advice of all the teachers, all the Buddhas. Kanti paramang tapotitikka nibbanang paramang vadanti buddha nahi pabbajito parupagati samano hoti parang vihetayanto. The best in the practice of morality is the practice of patience and forbearance. Nibbana is the supreme, said by the Buddha. Monks who do not harm others or disturb other beings become noble. If the monks harm and disturb others, they are no longer monks. Anupavado anupagato patimokkecha sangvaro mattang yutacha battasmin pantang cha sayanasanang. Adhicittecha ayogo etang buddhana sasanang. Not speaking evil, harsh words that can break other people's hearts, not hurting others, restraint in precepts, moderation in food, solidarity in dwellings, always encourage in practice of meditation. This is the teachings of the Buddha. Dear devout friends, today we all have come together as usual Saturday program to observe the Nawam full moon day, which is the second full moon day of the year. In this full moon day, there are 4 very important historical incidents took place at the time of the Buddha. The first one, the first ever Buddhist congregation, Buddha hosted on a full moon day like today. Second, delegation of power by the Enlightened One by appointing Arahants, Sariputtha and Moggallana as chief disciples. Third, Ovada prathimpkkshaya, qualities of ascetic, patience, forbearance, or impressiveness, and eminent religious austerity was explained and enforced by the Buddha for the stability of the teachings and the order. The final one was a bit sensitive one. Buddha decided to pass away on a full moon day like today in the month of February, called Nawam full moon day. So determination of the term of life of the Buddha or Enlightened One took place today. As you all know, Buddha became enlightened and then he first preached to the 5 ascetics. They became fully enlightened. Then there were some others joined, like the brothers of Uruvela Kashyapa, Nadi Kashyapa, Gaya Kashyapa. They were 1,000 in numbers. When they were going around, especially the 5th one of the 5 ascetics, called Venerable Assaji, met very special 2 people. Eventually, those 2 people became the disciples of the Buddha by listening to the dependent origination. They are called Venerable Sariputtha and Venerable Moggallana. So when this happens, you can now count how long Buddha has been a fully enlightened one. He was enlightened on the full moon day in the month of May. And now it has passed by before a year come to completion. His numbers of monks turned into 1,250 fully enlightened monks. When you think of such a congregation, such a group, there needs some rules, some sort of way to, because by that time people were very intelligent, lot of people believe different things, and all were interested of the Buddha's teaching. They all came in. When they all came in, they have different opinions, not necessarily because of their spiritual and came from different people, even in our family, maybe we have 4, 3, still there could be some problems. Therefore, even in household, we should have some rules. In our families, we should have some rules. Of course, in the temple, of course, even attending to this online temple, children have rules. They can't do all these things while they are attending to this Dhamma school program. They got to be disciplined. So for the first time, Buddha brought these monks together and tried to organize it. We call delegation of power. That was, first time 2,600 years ago, how advanced Buddha's teaching skills, management skills. Buddha said that let us divide our things into and manage properly, because this is going to be progress, develop, and last for many, many generations to come. Like our parents, why they are doing all these things, getting you into these Dhamma sermons. Because, I will say a small story. One elderly grandfather was put in a mango seed, and the grandson came and asked, how long it will take to bring the mangoes? Grandfather said, it might take about 10, 15 years. This grandson said, Granddad, you would not be here around by that time. The granddad very kindly said, my dear grandson, I am doing this for you. One day, you will benefit from this. So children, our Buddha put those in place for our benefit, without which this would have not been today. Therefore, we should be really grateful to our elders. We should not let them down. If you hurt your mom, if you hurt your dad, if you make them upset, you wouldn't believe how much they're going through to provide all what you need. I can take this example. Buddha appointed these two disciples called Venerable Sariputtha and Moggallana as chief disciples. There were some problems from other monks saying that we were there before, how could they become appointed that soon? And sort of, words were going around. Then Buddha was very patient and brought them again together and explained to them, of course, there were enlightened monks even before they come, but none of these enlightened monks were not aspiring for many, many lifetimes to become the chief disciples. But these were in life after life, they were doing necessary qualifications, necessary merits to become the fully chief disciples. Therefore, I recognized those merits and I appointed them. So that brought the problem into a resolution. Wonderful way. And then these Venerable Sariputtha, who show him the path to the Buddha of Venerable Assaji, he always, before he go to bed, he put his head to the direction where his teacher is. How much we need to be grateful to our elders, our parents, and our monks. Many people, many children doesn't recognize this. The next thing is Buddha delivered these special rules called Ovada prathimpkkshaya. For 20 years, there was no need. Everything went okay. Even in the families, in the families as a child, for the first 20 years, you would be okay. But after that, you would started to be different. That is why Buddha had to put some special implications in place after 20 years to secure the duration and the purity of the teachings of the Buddha. And that happens on the full moon day like today. And finally, Buddha is a person who develops so much. Among those we call 37 factors. Out of those 37 factors, there are 4 psychic powers. Satara Irdipada we call. Children, this is very, very important part. They are not mystical or airy-fairy. They are very important. Those Satara Irdipada means Chanda, Chitta, Viriya, Vimansa. Say, for example, you are struggling in maths. You are not really doing well in your maths. By pushing, you doesn't get anywhere. What you need is to develop an interest on this. That's called Chanda, the desire, interest, first thing. And it is a psychic power. So you develop an interest, then you are looking forward to it. Once you develop the interest, the second thing comes place, which is the second psychic power, the second Iddipada. What is it? Chitta. Chitta means you make the mind. You put yourself into it and you do it. So even these Dhamma sermons, we facilitate for you to develop interest so that you can put your mind onto it. But Buddha said the third one is very interesting. Vimansa, which means you got to be wise and reflective, investigate. We call Yoniso Manasikara. Don't do it in blind faith. Even Buddha said, you got to investigate and clearly see. That's called Vimansa. For example, your homework, your studies, if you investigate, then you would avoid wasting your time, distractions into other things, and you will make yourself organize and focus on it. That's called Vimansa. You think of it. Should I spend that much of time? Should I go into this? And that's called investigation. The final of the Satara Irdipada, Chanda Chitta Virya Vimansa, effort. Once you got that, then you would make the effort and energy to achieve your goals. So when somebody like Buddha developed this very, very powerfully, that person can live an eon. Kalpayak jivat wenna puluwan. However, it needs some sort of permission and support. So Buddha reminded this to the attendant of the Buddha called Venerable Ananda. But he was not in the right mind to accept it and say, yes, Venerable Sir, you can stay. Then Buddha eventually decided to fast away, which was in the age of nearly 3 months to the age of 80. So then that decision was made by the Buddha on this full moon day. After that, he went into to the place and passed away. So those are very few significance. I would not take much time because I really looking forward to listen to our children. And I will shortly go through again what the special admonition Buddha mentioned at the very beginning for us to repeatedly repeat. This is in brief explain the very, very important part of Buddhism in nutshell. You know, you should learn these 3 gathas. If you learn these 3 gathas, you will be very, very good in your discipline, your practice, and your teachings. Sabba papassa akaranam. Don't ever do any evil things, bad things. What are the bad things? Mainly 5 precepts. You got to be seriously practicing the 5 precepts. If you are not abide by the 5 precepts, then you are not a Buddhist or even a good human being. You don't have to be a Buddhist. Those are 5 precepts, doesn't do nothing to do with Buddhism. It's a normal human principle that can bring a lot of blessings. Second thing is do as much as good. Kusalassa upasampada. Third one is more interesting. That means always purify your mind. Do some meditation. That is what Buddha expects from you. Nothing other than that. And then Buddha said to these venerable monks, so monks who have been informed these rules, Buddha said the highest spiritual practice is none other than patient. Patient. You know the patient? Patient creates the heaven. Impatient creates the hell. If you are impatient, you are in hell. If you are impatient, you are in heaven. And that is the highest in spiritual practice, Buddha said. So that should be the monk's purpose. And then what is their ultimate goal? Nibbana. You all children should aim for attaining the Nibbana, because that is the Paraman Sukham, supreme blessing. Then Nahi Pabbajito Parupagati. Even a monk, if that person hurt, disturb, kill, hit other person, even that monk can't be a monk. So can you imagine if you disturb your parents, disturb your elders, which is a very, very serious thing, because you instantly lose your identity, humanity. Therefore, Buddha said, these are in brief the teachings of the Buddha. We got to be practiced very carefully. So I hope the significances of this Nawam full moon day would bring you very important message of the teachings of the Buddha. May those merits be with our sponsors of the day. May their aspirations be fulfilled. May you all have the blessings of the noble Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and may you be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. I will now pass on to our Rasikaya to go ahead with the program.
Siluma Hamdron Wanselagin Navasarai, Terum Saranai Sam Danatama. Good evening, everyone. So we are here to celebrate Nawam Poya today. It has been a practice for us ever since we started this Dhamma School program online since last lockdown. So we have been learning every month the significances for each Poya, and now come to this month's Poya, which is Nawam Poya. And Old Hamduru explained to us the significances of today's Nawam Poya. We learned again lots of Dhammakarana in that lecture. Again, my heart goes to you, Old Hamduru, for being there for our children and for us, explaining to us the importance of this Dhammakarana. And on behalf of all the children, parents, I would say Teruvan Saranai. So I won't go through again the significant event that took place on Nawam Poya Day, because our children have been eagerly waiting to present their understanding of this Poya. And what we did was we gave everyone a little topic to talk about, and we are ready to hear you. So first, to start the program, I would pass on to the first person, who is Ethan. Ethan, over to you.
Thank you, Rasika Mama. Tenu Sarnai, Ausarayapi Hamdune. Today I'm talking about it's Poya Day. Let's get ready to go to temple. Today is Nawam full moon Poya Day. first ever Buddhist council held after the passing away of Lord Buddha happened in a day like today. Each full moon day of the month has its own name according to Buddhist lunar calendar, and it's commonly called Poya Day. All practicing Buddhists in the world meditate, reflect, and put particular importance on the 5 precepts of Buddhism on the Poya Day. In Sri Lanka, Poya Day, it is a public holiday, and consuming alcohol and meat is forbidden. All the Buddhists in the world do not miss to go to temple on Poya days with their family. We are, as Buddhists, it is important to go to temple on the Poya Day so we can engage with Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Also, we can discuss our questions with Hamaduro and find the answers through Lord Buddha's teachings. When we get ready to go to temple, it is vital to choose white clothes because white recognizes as a symbol of purity and to avoid unnecessary distractions when you are in the temple. Also try to avoid wearing jewelry for the same reasons. It is always been a practice to bring flowers and oil for the oil lamps or candles and incense sticks to offer to Lord Buddha. Thank you. Turning sunlight.
Today we're going to talk about how children should behave in temple.
In a temple, children should respect the monks and adults. Also, they should not shout. Children should not be mean to one another and should not turn their back to the Buddha statue, and also should not face their feet to the Buddha statue as well.
If possible, you should wear white clothing whenever you come to the temple because it is respectful. They should not, and children should not run around the temple.
Delegation of Power.
Today my topic is observing that still is a singular word that came from Pali word of still. Pali is a language that was spoken by Lord Buddha. Still means virtue of contention. All the Buddhist people try to practice 5 pieces on full moon Poya Day. There is a special gift to observing still. I will show it. A monk should recite the prayers of still. There is no point in observing still if you can't train the still. If you don't know the reverse of still, it is okay to think that I will obey the still taught by Lord Buddha. We must practice our observing sense so like a mother to protect her only children, Karen and Savanai.
Hello, today I'm going to talk about some good habits that we can do at home as Buddhist children. We should wake up early morning and follow our morning routine without sleeping till late. We should worship Lord Buddha, observe the 5 precepts, and meditate. We should make this a part of our daily routine. We could do loving kindness meditation or anapanasati bhavana with the awareness on breath, keeping the mind refrains from other things. Another good habit we can develop is to help our parents every possible way. When you get up in the morning, you could make your bed, help cleaning the house, putting the washing out to dry, or help your parents looking after your younger sisters or brothers. If you have your grandparents at home, you could help them with any task that they need help with. As Buddhist children, we should practice good manners and discipline. We should respect and be kind to our parents and others. We should listen to our parents' advice and be obedient. We should not talk back or be rude to them. If we do any wrongdoing, we should immediately apologize and make sure that we don't do the same mistake ever again. When we should truly mean when we say sorry, we should worship our parents before we go to bed and be thankful for everything they do for us to make our lives better. Another good habit is to do our studies well. Do your school homework and read lots of books at home. Add some Dhamma books to your reading collection. When you read Dhamma books, try to apply that to your daily lives. Practice good qualities and habits. Experience the difference it makes to your life. Finally, eat healthy, drink plenty of water, do good exercise, practice meditation, and maintain a healthy body and mind. These habits will help us lead to a good life as a Buddhist children. Thank you for listening. Teran Saranai.
Sachit, it's your turn now.
Teran Saranai. Today I'll be talking about what does patience mean for a Buddhist child. Patience is a really good thing. It means to wait long periods of time without complaining. This is proven in the Buddha story. A many disciple was asked to fill water from a lake. He found it was muddy. He had to wait for the mud to set, but he did not want to wait, so he asked Buddha to go to town, but he didn't reply. In fact, he didn't move. Then the disciple went to the lake again, and he found out that the mud had set. It was all clear, crystal clear. Then the Buddha told him, "That's what you get with patience." So what does this have to do with a Buddhist child? A child, like many others, has its cravings, and and sometimes they may want to give gift now. If you be patient, it's a blessing. everything, and you are less likely to crave. Buddha described it as something of self-compassion. And patience is also a thing that we experience in everyday life, like waiting in a queue in an airport, or waiting for a bus to come, or waiting for a doctor to come in a hospital. If children don't complain, their parents won't be bothered. And remember, parents will do everything for a child. So if a child stays calm, the parents won't be worried. Thank
you, Sajid. Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how to improve concentration. Concentration means our mind is focused and concentrated on a particular object. Meta attention is the attention of attention. For instance, assume we are paying later, the attention will wander off for something else, and our mind will click this, and it is called meta attention. When our meta attention grows stronger, we will be able to recover our attention quickly. Continuous attention is called concentration. Relaxation in the mind is the foundation of deep concentration, and then our minds will be calm and stable. Meditation will make our minds calm and stable, as it will eliminate all distractions. So meditation is one of the tools for improving concentration. Furthermore, if we follow precepts, we can concentrate our bodily and verbal conduct, and it will make a strong intention for not harming ourselves and others. Precept observance is one of the objects for attention. For instance, assume we are speaking on only the truth for a period of time, and then we notice our life is cleaner and smoother. With accumulated practice, the precepts will also improve our concentration. Dewan Saranai.
Thank you, Monica. One of the importance of Navin Full Moon Poya Day is the appointment of two chief male disciples of Gautama Buddha. They are called Sariputtha and Moggallana. Today I'm going to say about Arahat Sariputtha. Arahat Sariputtha was born into the chief family in the village called Nalanka. His father's name was Tassa and his mother's name was Sari. Upatissa was his previous name. When he was at home with his parents, later he came to be known as Sariputtha, following his mother's name, meaning the son of Sari. Upatissa was the eldest of 7 children with 3 younger brothers and 3 sisters. They became as monks and nuns and became arahats. Arahat Sariputtha was generally considered as the first chief disciple and was always seen to be sitting on the right side of Buddha. The Buddha used to give ordination to newcomers to the community by himself, but then the Buddha gave approval and Arahat Sariputtha also to give ordination to the new members. Arahat Sariputtha was the wisest person among the Buddha's disciples, second only to the Buddha himself in his knowledge of the Buddha's teaching and its application. Through meditation, Arahat Sariputtha knew that he due to pass away before the Buddha and that he had 7 days remaining in this life before attaining final paranibbana. Arahat Sariputtha went to visit his mother to teach her the Buddha's teaching and for the final passing away to take place in the same room where he was born. It is said that as soon he had settled down on his bed, Arahat Sariputtha got several illnesses at that night and he was visited by great gods. Arahat Sariputtha entered deep meditation and passed away peacefully at the age of 84 years. Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Sadhu Ayya. Good evening, all. Today I'm going to present few facts about Arahat Moggallana Thero. Arahat Moggallana Thero was born in Kolithagama in India and he was named after the village called Kolitha. Kolitha and Upatissa, who was later known as Arahat Sariputtha, was best friends since their childhood. When time goes on, both these friends develop an interest in their spiritual life. A mendicant called Sanjaya was their first spiritual mentor, but both friends were not satisfied with their guidance. After meeting Arahat Assaji, who was one of the first 5 ascetics of Lord Buddha, both friends became Sawan and chosen to spend rest of their lives under the guidance of Lord Buddha. On that day, Moggallana Thero was ordinate. The Lord Buddha assigned them to the place of chief disciple without considering the seniority. Arahat Moggallana was praised several occasions as a good teacher by Lord Buddha. Unfortunately, Moggallana Thero attained paranibbana from an attack of thieves. Later, Lord Buddha explained Moggallana Thero could not avoid reaping the consequences as there was a contracted karma in his previous life by harming lives of his own parents, which is one of the Antari Papa Karma. Thank you. Oba samata teruan saranai.
Thank you, Rani. I would like to draw your attention about the Arahat Assaji. Assaji was one of the first Arahants of Gautama Buddha. He lived in a city called Uttar Pradesh and Bihar in northern India. One day, Upatissa came across Arahant Assaji when he was on alms round in Rajagahanurada. Having observed its dignified and calm appearance, Upatissa was impressed and thought, never before I haven't seen such a monk. He must be one of those who were Arahant, or on the way to Arahantship. At the end of the alms round, Upatissa approached Arahantasaji. Moreover, Upatissa prepared for his own religious seat that carried a venerable Asaji and offered it to the noble person. In addition, after meal, Upatissa serves him with water from his pots by fulfilling initial duties of the people. After they exchanged the greetings, Upatissa said, Sir, have you retired from the world? Whose concepts do you profess? Furthermore, Venerable Asaji told Upatissa he is still only a beginner and was not to be able to explain Dharma, but eventually replied a famous verse. Ye Dhamma hetu bhava te samhetum tathagata aha te sansa nirodho evam vapi maha samana. Venerable Asaji guided him very well. After hearing first two lines, he attained Soden. Later, his friend Kolita attained Soden. Then they went to see Lord Buddha at Devaram Vihara. That is the end of the story of Arahant Asaji. Thank you very much for listening with me. Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Nangi. Thank you for giving me a chance to present one of the most important events happened on the day of the Nawam Poya Day. That was an appointment of Sariputtha and Moggallana as the first two chief disciples of Buddha, and they recognized as the right hand and left hand disciples. They were childhood friends, and Upakisha and Kulipa were their real names. Both enjoy wealth, position, and power. When they become young, they will get to understand the uncertainty of life and decided to find the real truth of life. They both left their homes to find a teacher who directs them to achieve the wisdom of life. They divided and agreed that whichever of them found the reality, they would inform to others. While the way of finding a teacher, Upakisha met Assaji Pharaoh, one of the disciples of Lord Buddha. Then he asked, who is your teacher and what you follow? After a short discussion, Upakisha understood this is the right way. Then he informed his friend they would decide to see Lord Buddha soon. The Buddha noticed their arrival and said those gathered, these two wonders will one day be my two chief disciples. They approached Buddha, bowed, and sat to one side. Then they requested to enter into my Sangha and training in my Dhamma. After Upakisha is given to name Sariyuth, and
later, as Moggallana, they both attend Arahantship. After a short while, they assist at the administration of the Sangha, as well as teaching when the Buddha was absent. Sayupara was considered the foremost in wisdom, and Moggallana was the foremost in psychical powers. They did great service and died a few months before the Buddha. Parents Sonai.
Thank you, Nawam. Buddha Saranai. Today we are celebrating Nawam Full Moon Poya Day. On this Full Moon Poya Day, a few events happened. In one of the significant events, the Buddha appointed Venerable Sariputtha Mahavahatang Vahante and Venerable Moggallana Mahavahatang Vahante as the two chief disciples. My sister will explain a bit more in detail about the importance of delegating powers to the disciples.
Nawam Poya Day celebrates a lot of significant events. Today I'm going to be talking about the delegating of powers from the Buddha. The Buddha has seen in advance the trouble caused to his disciples when they arrived in Veluvanarama. This was where the Buddha advised his disciples and resolved the worries and questions they had. At the first congregation, the Buddha introduced the principles of delegation of powers and asked the members of the Mahasangha to ordain ascetics. The Buddha worried that incidents of failure in conduct would occur if the community grew. The aspirants of asceticism had originally been ordained by the Buddha himself. However, as the Sangha community grew, he decided that members of the Mahasangha should do so instead. This allowed the members of the Mahasangha to go into priesthood whenever they wished, and the Buddha would help if any advice or guidance was needed. After that, the Buddhist monastic order was grouped into 4 categories, traditionally consisting of monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen. This is a very important event because the result of delegation of power by the Buddha allowed the future generation of monks to carry on their teaching of the Dhamma and pass it on to other people.
Tewan Saranai.
Thank you, Rion. On Nawam Poya Day, 20 years after the Enlightenment of the Buddha decided to introduce the code of conduct known as Ovada prathimpkkshaya for the Bhikkhu Sangha for their own well-being. At this day, Buddha held a council for his Sanghas. Just about 1,340 bhikkhus attended, and the Buddha advised the bhikkhus to comply with the set of rules. Mittul Malli will further explain the rules. Thank you very much. Taranang Sarana.
Thank you, Sanket Ayya. As Sanket Ayya explained earlier, after 20 years of the enlightenment of Gautama Buddha organized a Sangha Council on Naham Poya Day for a better future for the Buddhism. The Lord Buddha announced for the first time a code of fundamental ethical precepts for the monks. Bringing all together, monks made a collection of precepts of vinaya or discipline, and determined of the terms of life of Sangha. Also, Sariputtha Thero and Moggallana Thero, who were appointed as a first chief disciples, known as Agasau of Gautama Buddha.
Hiru parami pale eti sasara kena Sariputtha Moggallana Mahatarun mana Pingbaranawam pohodina yahi sasuna tinam තනා පුතු හිමි ජීවමානව පැති සිටි ඇරට මහා සංඝ සමළුවක් පැවතිනි මුල්වරට ඒ අසරිය මැවි මැවි ඒපෙන් සිතක පින්බර නවම් පොහොයේ වටිනා කමත තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Thank you, Mithul, Malli and Mihali Nangi. There was a really beautiful full moon last night, wasn't there, Malli?
Yes, Akka. This is because yesterday was the Nawam full moon Poya day.
You are right, Malli. Do you know there is a very interesting story about what happened on a Nawam full moon Poya day?
Yes. Today we are going to tell you this interesting story.
Once, when Lord Buddha was staying in the Sukarakatta cave on Mount Gijjakuta in Rajagaha, a wanderer named Diganaka came to him. Do you know what Sukarakatta means, Malli?
Sukarakatta yes, Akka. Sukarakatta means dug by pigs. So that was a cave dug and now abandoned by pigs.
Yes, Malli. This Diganaka was an uncle of Venerable Sariputtha, who was also meditating in the cave, striving to attain Arahatship, the fourth and final stage of sainthood.
Do you know, Akka? The name Diganaka also has a very interesting meaning. Diga means very long and Naka means nails. So Diganaka means one with very long nails.
Yes, during this meeting, Lord Buddha was giving a detailed discourse to Diganaka about Vedana or feelings. This was the Vedana Parikkaha Sutra, also called the Diganaka Sutra.
When we say Vedana, that does not always mean pain or unpleasant feelings. In our life, we always encounter pleasant, unpleasant, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant feelings. We follow these feelings and do good or bad actions, which make us continue in the circle of samsara.
That is true, Malli. In the Vedana Parikkaha Sutra, Lord Buddha explained to Diganaka about 5 different ways that a person experiences Vedana through the mind and body. Those were namely Somanassa, Domanassa, Upekka Sahagata, Sukha and Dukkha.
Venerable Sariputtha, who was also there, heard this discussion between Lord Buddha and Diganaka.
He was following this discourse intently and practiced the meditation on feeling.
Yes, Akka, this is called Vedana Kamatahana, and as a result, he became an Arahant.
This important event took place on a Nawam full moon Poya day,
making it very important for all of us Buddhists. Thank you for listening. Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Abhishek and Hasanumandi. A Poya day is the name given to the Buddhist full moon holiday. It is celebrated monthly in recognition of the moon being its fullest point. This usually means that a Poya day falls once a month. As 70% of Sri Lanka are Buddhist, most of the population celebrates each Poya day as the religion's significance. The fact that the moon is the largest and brightest, when it is the full of the rationale behind full moon being occasion for celebration. Each full moon and each corresponding Poya day has its own name and specific event. It is meant to commemorate these events be related to Buddha and Buddhism. Some of the key events remembered on Poya Day. Today we celebrate Nawam Poya Day. The significance of this Poya Day will explain my other Dhamma school friends.
The day has been declared a holiday by the Sri Lanka government for the public to engage in religious observance. On that day, many Buddhists go to temples and take part in religious rites. A special Buddhist program is conducted in the temples on Poya days. It's called Sil, but for many, it's a good day to relax their mind as well.
Thank you for your attention. Teruvan Saranam.
On this part, on this special day, ascetics Sariputtha and the last and highest part to Nirvana, called the Arahants. So this means he attended Arahantship. Some monks were a bit concerned over this fact, about why he was appointed for this position, especially when so many monks had already attained Arahantship a while back. Lord Buddha came to know about this and cleared the doubts by explaining the reason behind it. Lord Buddha preached the qualities of ascetics on this day. This is called Ovada prathimpkkshaya. It was that the Vinaya, which are the code of monastic disciplinary rules, were proclaimed based on the teachings that the Buddha had passed on to his disciples. Some of these qualities he discussed were patience. So this is the highest practice of the Dhamma, so the teachings. We should be calm in whatever situation we are in. Patience is the pause that helps us get our feelings under control. The second quality that he discussed was forbearance. This is a quality of, again, being patient and being able to forgive or control yourself in a difficult situation. The third quality is impressiveness. The fourth quality is the eminent religious austerity. This is a quality or state of being strict in manner or attitude. For example, monks have left the domestic life and are having no comforts or luxuries at all. Thank you. Teruvan Saranam.
ඔබ සැමට පින්බර නවම් පොහොය දිනයක් වේවා. අවසරයි හාමුදුරුවනේ. අසාරේ සාර මතිනෝ සාරේ චාසාර දස්සිනෝ තේ සාරණාදි ගච්ඡanti මිච්ඡා සංකප්ප ගෝචරා. On a Nawam full moon Poya day, several significant events happened relating to the Buddha. One of the most important incidents was appointing Arahat Sariputtha and Moggallana as the chief disciples of Gautama Buddha. And on the same day, Arahats informed the Buddha that the former teacher, ascetic Sanjaya, of Arahat reluctance to follow the right path of attaining Nibbana. And at this time, Enlightened One explained to them that the false thinking of certain people and right thinking of others are sare sara matino, viewing the non-essential as essential. The meaning of the above phrase in the Dhammapada is they take the untruth as the truth, by which people never get the truth for their life correctly. As a result, people are believing in wrong perceptions towards so many things surrounding them, thinking what they believe is the truth. They tend to practice so many misbehaviors, thinking what they practice is correct or true. They imagine unsensual as insensual. They associate ill will, grudge, anger, so on and so forth, thinking that those malpractices will give them the true joy. Above are a few examples of what people do without realizing the truth and thinking untruth as the truth. There's so many examples around our lives, in our society, and due to this reason, people gather lots of bad karma for their sansari. The lesson we learn from this phrase is that we need to evaluate our understanding, perception, and believing are representing the truth for this purpose. We need to consult wise people. Terwan Saranai, Stuti.
Thank you, Viralaya. The Buddha came to this world to teach what is the truth and to establish a new path to overcome all suffering of living beings. During his long and successful Buddhahood, he fulfilled his mission to the satisfaction of both himself and his followers. At the age of 80, he addressed Venerable Ananda and said, "Ananda, whosoever had fully developed the 4 parts of accomplishment could, if he so desires, remain in the same birth for a kappa."
However, Venerable Ananda could not fully grasp the meaning of this statement and did not invite the Buddha to live longer. For the second and third time, the Buddha made the same statement, but Venerable Ananda remained silent. After Ananda Thero went away, Mara, the evil one, came to Buddha and said, "Now the time has come of the parinibbana of the Lord."
Then Buddha said in reply to this request by Mara, "I shall not pass away until all my bhikkhus and bhikkhunis have been well educated in the Dhamma. They must be wise, well disciplined, preservers of the Dhamma, live according to the Dhamma, abiding by the appropriate conduct. And after learning the Dhamma, they must be able to expound it, preach it, proclaim it, establish it, reveal it, explain it in detail, and make it clear. Then, when adverse opinions rise, they should be able to refute them completely and continue to preach the Dhamma."
At the age of 80, Buddha had given all necessary instructions to his followers, and they were well established in his teachings and also capable of spreading the Dhamma among others. He therefore decided not to control the remainder of his lifespan by his willpower and by experiencing the bliss of arahantship. Therefore, on a Nawam Poya day, Buddha announced to Venerable Ananda that he was going to pass away in 3 months' time.
Venerable Ananda instantly recalled the saying of the Buddha and begged him to live longer for the good and happiness of many living beings. Buddha said in reply to this, "The time for making such a request has now passed." Then Buddha explained the nature of life to Venerable Ananda and requested him to call all of the bhikkhus.
When all of the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis arrived, the Buddha said, "Whatever truths have been expounded to you by me, study them well, practice, cultivate, and develop them so that this holy life may last long and continue indefinitely for the good and happiness of all the beings." Thank you for listening. Teruvan Saranai.
Good. Well done to all of you. And now I can see that there are some other people who have not talked. I would like to give you a chance to talk if you're willing to. Anyone wants to say anything? Even the people who have not put their cameras on, you can speak if you would like to. Right, okay. Good. So the good thing is that when I chose those topics for you, I did not consult you at all. You took that challenge and do your homework at home and found some interesting facts, information about your topic and shared with us. And thank you very much for that. Well done. I thought of something stuck my mind when I heard the Buddha was saying to the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis when he announced his parinibbana. He used specific words. So what he said was, whatever the truth that I have expounded, study them. Not just study them well. So in other words, study Dhamma well. And he didn't stop there. He went further and said, practice them, cultivate them, and develop them. This is a really good advice, I think, for all of us, children and adults. I would recommend that you write that statement down on a piece of paper, put it in front of your desk or the wall in your bedroom whenever you wake up or whenever you're doing your homework. Just keep looking at it. And you will get enough motivation by looking at it. So we have been learning about 38 Mangalkarana in the past, and we came to learn Parabhava Sutra, which is still going on. So all these Dhammakarana will give you enough information, enough advice for you to become a good person and how to avoid bad things. That's what Buddha told the bhikkhus, and it applies to all of us as well. Study them well, practice, cultivate, and develop. Right. So that's the end of the Nawam Poya program. And next week, we will go back to our regular lessons. And last week, we learned another gatha from Parabhava Sutra, which explained the importance of sharing. If someone is not sharing his wealth, be it food, knowledge, or any other luxuries, it is a cause of downfall. And Hamdul explained to us that gatha and its meaning. And I would expect you to revise whatever you have learned out of that gatha and present your answers next week. So once again, well done to everyone. And I would kindly pass it back to Hamaduru. Teran Sarai.
Peruan Sarnai Rasikaye, thank you so much. And as you mentioned, children has done a very, very hard work and also excellent contribution that we all can learn from each other. And they were also attending very, very carefully, listening to others as well, which is also important, that you are presenting as well as you are listening to the other children as well. And again, thank you, Rasikaya, for working very hard to keep them organized, bring them together. And it is a great, great meritorious activity, huge blessing that our children find in the right encouragement, right teachings, right culture, right discipline is very important. Now, let us practice few minutes meditation to finish our full moon day observations, full moon day program. Selecting a comfortable posture. Let your whole body relax. And make yourself sit still. And stop all other activities and try to focus. Listen to what I say. I can see you, most of you. And slowly, slowly let your whole body relax. If you want to open your eyes, if you want to move your hands or body, just see it in the mind before you do that. Don't do it instantly, impulsive way. Don't let it to happen automatically. Then experience your body, you're sitting, and be kind to your body. Experience your feet, let them be at ease, relax. Then your hands, put them on your lap. Get your shoulders relaxed. Bring a gentle smile. And let that smile to go into the whole body as a healing, as a great medicine. And then just observe. Observe if there is any part of the body instantly moving, or whether your mind is still not calm. Whether you are being distracted from other things. You know, the very important meditation we learn called patient. When you have anything around you, be patient. Now experience what this patient means. What sort of time that I lose that patient? What are the healings, benefits that brings by the patient? How do I practice patient? Patient is a great meditation technique which create a heaven like your mind, your body, your environment. Patient can apply into your eyes. When your eyes are very restless, that's impatient. For example, you want to keep the eyes closed, but you are repeatedly opening it and reacting to things around you, which means you are not having the patience in your eyes. Observe the patient in your hearing. If there is anything that annoys or disturbs you, which means you don't have enough patience, that you can experience when you are hear something, you get being controlled by it. Then observe whether your breath is impatient or patient. Whether it is calmer, that you are slowly breathing in, and you see this great teaching of patience in it. Yes, my breath is calm. Yes, my breath is slow. I have this patience in my nose, in my breath. Then patient in our tongue, in our eating, in our drinking. Do we use that patient? In addition to that, mouth also relate into our speech, the way we say, what we say. Do we have practice enough this patient meditation in our speech, in our food? When you apply the patient in the food, you become slow in eating, and you eat well, you enjoy, you see the taste, and it takes good nutrients into your body. When you eat quickly, impatiently, it doesn't bring the right food into the body, right energy doesn't come, neither you enjoy the taste. Then the patient in the body. See whether the patient is there in your body, whether your body is not moving, whether body is calm, whether body is comfortable. And final area that patient need to be well established is our mind. Then repeat this in the mind, may I be patient. May I develop patience. May I be well. As I am, may those around me, those in my family, my friends, my teachers, everyone in the whole world have this patience. May they all develop this patience. May they experience the patient. See if we can experience that patient in the mind, in the body, in our speech, in our mouth, in our words, in our smell, in our breathing, in our hearing. If we are not having the patience in listening, we do not pick the things up. We don't have the concentration. And sit 1 minute in silence. Slowly bring your palms jointly together and slowly open the eyes and let the light slowly come in. And experience your body and you experience the patient in your mind, in your body. So our meditation is about today how we can develop the patient in our speech, in what we see, in our what we hear, what we taste, or what we say. The whole week until we meet again next week, we are practicing the meditation on patience. In our breath, in our movements, when we are having a shower, when we are dressing ourselves, we don't rush and we develop patience. And let us share our gratitude together by saying 3 times, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you next week. And thank you very much for being with the temple on this full moon day. And you can get the real impression that you have been to the temple on full moon day, which is very important thing of a Buddhist life. At least once a month, the full moon day, we should go to the temple. Some people go every Friday, some people go some, special day, Sunday. Christian people go to church definitely on Sunday. While we are going weekly, we should definitely go to the temple on full moon day. So you have done that, and continue your meditation, and we'll see you next week. Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan Saranai and Rasikaya.
Teruvan Saranai and Rasikamama. Please say something. Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan Saranai Muturune.
Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan Saranai Muturune.
Teruvan Saranai. Bye.